Hi guys, Bubblebox here once again, and welcome to a special collaboration video, I guess. And I am here with 3 other YouTubers, Bubblebox, Raptor, and Nolan. And we are going to be in Bubblebox's series where he talks about different units inside a deck, why you should definitely go for them, why you shouldn't go for them, and so on and so on. Bubblebox is going to be leading this episode, like for the most part. So just sit back and enjoy this video.
So we're going to crack on really quickly with the logistics, and I believe Raptor's going to help me with this. What have you got with your logistics then, Raptor?
Well, I'm looking at the Eurocorp now, and though I don't play as Eurocorp as much as I'd like to, obviously one of the most important things of this deck anyway is the mobility that you have and the armor that you have as well.
Yep.
And that's interesting because you've got 2 things to consider here: commands and also supplies. So it's, you know, the logistics tab for command and supplies are often overlooked. So usually whenever I play with Germany or with Eurocorp in general, I always bring the Fufu with, due to the fact that you've got that high speed amphibious movement as well as the high speed on the road. It's a fantastic vehicle to leave back as it's only 120 points, or bring up to the front as it's not that huge of a sacrifice compared to the KDOW. And also you've got like the Leo 1, for example, for the command as well, or even the AMX-30B. So those are good armored commands, and also speed-wise. And of course you've got the infantry as well, and which I would suggest bringing probably the Frungs group in Adorner 205 for flanking and or quick caps in the middle. And then for supplies, I always love bringing the Jupiters and the Man-Caddy 6x6s, and I see a lot of people use those a lot, so those are obviously good. And when it comes to the German or French fob, it all just depends on what kind of bread you like on your butter.
That's right, yeah, and I really like those Fuchs as well. I haven't got them in my deck, but I do like them for their speed. Especially you can get them out of trouble. They can move really quickly if they're getting artillery, for example. And I've got the Man-Catties as well, the 6x6s. I like a bigger truck, so I don't have to micro the small ones around too much. Myself, I've got a couple of commands. I've got the, I can't pronounce it, the Fernsformer Groupers in the Dorniers. And also I have got, you might not like this, guys, the Leopard 2 command tank as well.
Like that.
And I'll tell you why. The only reason I got it is because it's one of the most, it's the most expensive ground unit. I just had to have it in my deck, and that's the only reason.
That's a good reason, though. That's a good reason.
Got to have it, haven't you? 170 points, but hey, you know, you can stick it somewhere if you're playing a conquest game. And then, yeah, for my logistics, as well as the Man-Catties, I've also got a set of choppers, 85-point choppers, because I like, again, I don't like microing around my logistics too much, so get a bigger chopper, just keep it safe. And I've got a fob as well. And that's it for my logistics. Has anyone else got anything interesting?
I was surprised it took you guys that long to bring up the CH-53. I love that helicopter. It has so many supplies. You can kind of tuck it up, and if you're kind of overextending a little bit too much, you can bring it up, and you got a load of supplies waiting for you if you need to retreat a little bit.
Yeah, and it's fast, 320 Ks, yep. So it's really fast, backwards and forwards to the fob as well. Yeah. So I'll move on to the infantry. I think that was Bolt Source. You were going to do the infantry, weren't you? Yep. Head off then. What have you got?
So the first unit that I am going to start this off with is the Fallschirmjäger 90, which is my airborne infantry, which I use in the start of the game.
Yeah.
It's a 10-man squad, elite training, really good against infantry. They can definitely hold their own in a town or in a forest.
Yeah.
And they can just wreck any tank with that Panzerfaust 3, even in the front. After the Fallschirmjäger 90, I have the Commander Marine, and it's one of my favorite infantry units. They are really good against pretty much anything except for the heaviest tanks. It is a 15-man squad with elite training. Obviously really good against infantry because they have a higher caliber than the Fallschirmjäger, so it does do a higher suppression rate. And it's 15 men, so it'll do a lot of damage. And yeah, just both of these guys in one town will absolutely stop anything that the enemy throws at you.
Absolutely, yeah. And what have you got your Commander Marines coming in?
The Commander Marines are in the Puma 330H Pirates. And there's only like 5 points difference between the 330H Pirate and the normal Pirate.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Fallschirmjägers are in the CH-53G, and sometimes if I'm playing on a smaller map, I swap them out and put them in Dorniers because they land faster. And
Okay.
if you play on smaller maps with the 53G, you just lose the bonus that you got with the speed because it takes like half an hour to unload.
Yeah. What else have you got in your infantry?
To basically follow up with my elite infantry, I have some Panzer Grenadier 90s in the Marder 2s as a ground support or a ground follow-up.
Yeah. Really good value for money, though.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best infantry units in my opinion. 35-point transport with 10 front armor and a 50mm cannon.
Yeah, yeah.
And after that, I have some Jaegers in the M113s.
Any anti-air?
Mistrals in the AMX 13P. AMX 13
Yeah,
VTT actually.
Same.
Yeah, it's really good, it's really cheap, and it absolutely does a whole lot of damage. Those Mistrals 5 HE, and I just put them in the most cheapest vehicle ever.
Yeah, I've done exactly the same. Just bring them in something cheap. Yeah.
That's funny because I went for the opposite. I usually like sticking my special weapons teams like the Mistrals and the Milans in Panthers. So if I do that early helo rush, I can have some Panthers to kind of dispose of any kind of transport infantry I would see on the other team. Kind of a little bit of effective, kind of a plan B kind of deal.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I've gone fairly similar. I've got the Mistrals and the AMXs. I've got Panzer Grenadiers as well, but I've got 2 lots of them. 1 lot in the Marder 2s. But I've also got a lot in very cheap 5-point trucks of death, the M113 A1Gs, and the reason for that is, yeah, you can bring them in en masse because you get a lot of them. You get 14 at Harden then, and you can just bring them in for infantry fighting with their close quarters combat machine gun and stuff if you need them. And I've got Commando Marines in VABs as well, and I've got some ATGM F3s in VABs as well. That's my infantry. Has anyone else got anything interesting or different?
Yeah, I'm wondering, you guys don't like the Legion 90 with their Erixes?
Yeah, they're decent. I haven't got them. There must have been a reason. Can't remember what it is off the top of my head, to be honest. But
that irks. You got to get in close, but
yeah, it's kind of
it's always a heavy hitter, always.
I feel like it's kind of a playstyle thing. Like if I knew I was going for Helo and then support afterwards, I would definitely go for the Legion because I would drop the Mistrals and the Milans like I was talking about, maybe some Fallschirmjäger, and then there's not much that can take a town with those in it. Yeah, like you can. I've done many a game where I drop a couple Legion, a couple Panzer Grenadiers, some Mistrals and Milans, and that they will stop most things that are going at it because the Milans hit them from really far away. They get closer, they hit the Milans and the Legion. They get too close, you got the Panzer Grenadiers hitting you. There's not much that can get into that town real easily. So that's usually what I like. And if you know you're going to do an airborne drop.
Yeah, cool. Anybody else? Shall we move on to the support then? And I think we're back onto Raptor again. Raptor, what have you got in your support for your deck?
Right, so I think obviously, again, like with the logistics deck, or really with any of these, or with that tab, like with infantry, you've got to consider multiple different things as well as you do with logistics. And again, with a lot of people may pass it to the wayside as well as vehicles, but support is almost indefinitely the key to winning a lot of battles. If you want to keep air superiority, sometimes can be won on the ground if you're bringing the right units. And obviously, if you're trying to push ahead and take territory and keep it, something like the VPM 120 is going to help you to do that with its high speed and its ability to fire a very long range with a very good dispersion. That's a vehicle that's going to help you to hit medium targets as well as smoke out of town and push the enemy back while you capture it, and then bring up something such as Flak Panzer, Geopard A1s or A2s or FRP Roland 3s. I think it's important to bring a medium price or even a high price AA unit, as like you had said earlier, Bubble. The most important thing for players like you and I in our play style is that micro can be a lot of the times where you're going to really take a hit if you're having to manage so much. So with a VPM 120 for artillery, and with the the Flak Panzer A2 or even the AMX 30 Roland 3, that's going to really help determine or rather deter the enemy from trying to take your position, as well as obviously I have to highly recommend the Mars launcher as well for long-range artillery. I'm just hearing don't leave home without it from the Rat Pack now, because or even I guess comparably as well as the M220, they're both fantastic vehicles for reaching out and trying to hit the enemy. That's really extremely important in terms of a early game push and to keep the enemy back and attack and get in there and hold that territory, which is extremely important in both destruction or in conquest. And of course you got light mortars as well and other things to consider. I always enjoyed vehicles like the VAB VDAA and the Mistral, but they just don't have that kind of power anymore. And traditionally I think France and Germany in Air-Land Battle and earlier in Red Dragon were factions that were very underpowered when it came to AA. But obviously with these added vehicles and, you know, working in conjunction with aircraft and with shoulder-launched anti-aircraft man-pads, you're going to have a real winner if you're taking a town.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that support is, I reckon, probably one of the most, if not the most important set of units. And I always have 5. I mean, in my deck, I've got Crotals, which have been nerfed a little bit, I believe, in the last patch, but they're still very, very good. And I've got those AMX 30 Rolands, which everybody kind of tends to overlook these, but they are cheap. They've got a range of 2,800 against choppers, and they are got a little bit of armor as well against artillery pieces and things like that.
That's a good point.
Also, yeah, and I've got the Roland 3s. I've got the FRP Roland 3s for long range. Stick the AMX 30s in front of the Roland 3s to try and stun the planes before they get close to our Rolands. I do attempt to micro my radar AA, but I'm not the best at micro, but I do it okay. And then I've got some mortars, the kind of cheaper ones, the PZ MRS M113s. They've still got a good range of 7,700. And I've got the Caesars, although I am often tempted to switch them out for the Mars, I have to admit, because, yeah, the Mars are just so good against tanks and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. What does everyone else think? Anybody got anything a little bit different?
I feel like every time I play a game where I could have a Mars, I really wish I had gotten a Mars. That's usually what I'm thinking, especially if you hit those players that really love their smirches. It's good to have something that you can kind of hit them back with, and also definitely Crotals. You cannot beat the range on helicopters with those Crotals. I always have those in there at least.
Yeah, the only thing I hate about Crotals is they run out of ammo so fast, but they are decently, well, they're very accurate actually, 60%. They've only got 4 missiles, but if you bring a supply truck with them, they can do some serious damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So should we move on to the tanks?
Yep.
Everyone loves the tanks, so we're all going to have a say here, I think. So we'll start with Bolt Source, though. What do you think about the tanks, Bolt Source?
Yep. To start off, I have KPZ-70 Kylers. Really, really good tank against infantry and light or medium transports in the beginning of the game, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet we've all got that.
And besides that, they do have a good cannon, but it's mainly for like transports and infantry, basically. And after that, I have the Leopard 2A1, which is a really good tank. 115 points, really good front armor, really nice cannon. It's like one of my favorite tanks. It's German, so it's good anyway.
Yeah.
And then my final tank is the Leopard 2A5 to basically bro down with their heavier stuff.
Yeah. And they're your 3 tanks, are they? You got 3 slots?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got 3 slots. I've got the Kylers. I really like the Kylers because they're not too expensive. They've got an okay gun. It's not the best in the world. The armor's not the best in the world either. But I like the autocannon. Can shoot at ground infantry, lightly armored vehicles, and take them apart, and can shoot at helicopters as well. That's why I like the Kylers. I've also got my kind of medium price. I go for sort of a cheap tank, a medium price tank, and a hefty tank. The medium one I've gone for is the Leopard 2A4. And I like this because it's not that much worse than the 2A5. It's well armored. It's got, I think, almost the same gun, just the accuracy is slightly less than the 2A5, I think. I'll have to check that. But I think it's a really nice tank for the price of 135 points. And then I've got the 2A5s just because they're the most expensive tank and I want them in my deck. What about other people? What have you got?
Well, I'm a bit of a tank noob. I love my tanks, love my armor. So I actually filled up all 5 slots for this. I brought the 2 Leclercs. I got my 3 2A4s, 1 2A5, 6 AMX 40s, and 8 Kylers. So I really like the Kylers and the AMX 40s basically because they're infantry stoppers. They're basically infantry stoppers. If you got them in the tree lines, if you got them, they're like they're kind of like, I feel like the BMPTs of Blue 4. Like I feel like I'm if I had to, I would feel okay with putting them into the woods. I'd feel okay into somewhat of a tree line because they can hit the transports. They can get rid of those BTR 90s pretty easily. They can get rid of like what else? SPW 80s, I think, with the good cannons on them, and they can also shoot up the infantry pretty easily as well. And then obviously, I don't think I need to say too much about the Leclerc and 2A5 and 2A4s. Those are some of the best hitting tanks in the game.
Yeah. What about you, Raptor? What's your favorite tank?
Well, obviously it's got to be between that 2A5 and the 2A4, and obviously you want the 2A5, but the 2A4 shouldn't be underestimated either, and same with the Leo 1A5 as well. You know, you want to combine with tanks. You don't want to just buy the biggest and best because, you know, you can still be killed from the air or from behind or from the sides. A tank really is only as deadly as whatever direction it's pointing in, so obviously you want to have a number of them. And as you guys were saying, I mean, I completely agree with Nolan that AMX-40 or really anything French with an autocannon in it is really going to help defend that tank against lighter vehicles and a push with infantry. And the Kyler just can't be ignored either. So obviously you want to, you know, there are big jumps in German armor from, like, for instance, the 1A2 and the 1A4. Like, there's a small price increase, but the accuracy is just tremendous and the range as well. So if you're playing earlier decks, you know, you may want to always consider putting in a different tank when it comes to the Leo line, but never underestimate the power of that AMX-40 and really the AMX line. It's a lot of people like to refer to it as a glass cannon, but the enemy's not going to destroy it if they can't see it, and if they get killed before they get to it, you're a winner.
Sure, interesting. Thanks. So should we move on to the recon? And I think
I don't know what that is.
What is recon? Is that really game?
Yeah. I really don't know.
Is that war game?
What's that?
I don't know.
This what tab is this?
What's recon?
Are we recording?
REC.
Recon.
Record?
Oh,
I
right.
am recording. I'm pretty sure I'm recording. I think. Oh, there we go.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, so this is my tab.
Yeah, go for it.
Basically, I'll just go down the line here. I find recon very. I actually do find recon very important. I always make sure I do fill this out pretty quickly. So I go for the VBL Mistrals, the Pa-2 Tigers, Commando Paras, and specifically the 330H Pirates, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then I also go for the 4 Lukes, just so I can hit all different types. If I want to make sure that I can hit anything, if I want to go with the Airborne Assault, I got my Pa-2s, and then also I'll probably send some Commandos with them. And then if I want to go for the tank push, I'll make sure I send the Lukes and the Mistral, maybe even a Tiger above them. It's just a well-rounded, make sure that you have recon with you at all times. Specifically with the Mistral, I like how it's got the very good optics as well as obviously the Mistrals. So you can go hide that in a tree line, and then if someone gets a little bit too cocky with their cooler or something, it can take it out.
Yep.
And then obviously the Pa-2 Tiger doesn't have the cannon, which is sometimes regretful, but you do have the Stingers, you do have the ATGMs and the rockets. They're very useful, as well as obviously the exceptional optics. And then obviously the Commandos Para, well, not obviously, but the Commandos Para I do like very much, because for those maps where there might be naval, or if there's a little bit of a stretched, maybe if there isn't even naval, but there's an island out there, you just kind of want to put some recon out there just to see, make sure you know what's coming. I could put the Commandos Para out there, and obviously for recon, but then the pirate, I always make sure I put the pirates with them, because if you meet the other team that bring out their MI2 with some kind of recon unit in it, it can shoot it down, and it'll actually have the power to shoot it down before they can land, or even hit the squad that they put down. Obviously, if you find some man pads out there, you're out of luck, but if you do meet that 1 or 2 helicopters that might have recon in it, you're going to be able to take them out pretty easily. And then the Lukes is just solid. It's really fast. I can move it around quickly. Actually, do some suicide runs, I guess, if I wanted to get some eyes on. If I really wanted to see that retreating Twardy or something, maybe get some eyes on, then it's really useful for that.
Yeah, it's got a nice little autocannon, and it's amphibious as well, so you can go across the water with it also.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got the Mistral. I think the Mistral is one of the best units in the Eurocorp deck. It might be a bit controversial, but I just think it's a fantastic unit to have something to bring out at the start that's got very good optics and can fire AA missiles and can go across the water as well with a small amount of armor. I think it's a really, really nice unit. I've definitely got that in my deck. And I've got the Hussards 85s in Vabs. That's just their space fillers, really, so that I can just dot them around where I need them, just to keep an eye on what the enemy's doing, even on the flanks and things. And then I've got the PAH2 Tigers, of course, as well. So I've got a chopper a little truck, and also some infantry. And that's my recon. Has anyone else got anything a bit different?
Yeah, I'd
cool.
have to agree that that's got to be the backbone of the force, is the Mistral with the Luke's A1. That's really what you want to do. And I agree with you too. The Hussards, especially in a chopper or something, to get around, whether you're picking 85 or just the standard, that's really effective to try to get around the enemy, try to see what's in the back. And of course, if you ever spot a command, or if you spot you know, the enemy trying to resupply their units or something, and even if you don't have artillery, if you can help a teammate land a hit like that, that's a victory for everybody. So being able to do that and getting behind the enemy, and also, as you were saying, Nolan, with the VBL Mistral, a cocky player with a you know, some sort of an attempt at a flank or something like that, that can be completely grounded with a 55-point unit that they can't see, or early detection and getting out some helicopters or air support to knock that down right away. A good point.
Sure, thanks. So shall we move on to the vehicles? Bolt, I think you were going to have a go at these. Was it you? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Go for it.
So, the first vehicle that I have in this tab is the Marder VTS-1. Actually, I think it's a one. Yeah, it's a one, and it's a really good cannon. It's a really good tank destroyer. Only 25 points, 15 AP. Just put them in like ambush positions, and you're good to go. Like put 2 of them somewhere, and if you get side shots, whatever that tank is, it's a goner. It's that easy with these things. But yeah, if you get closer, they're dead.
Yeah, I guess if they can get nice and close, they're going to do some serious damage because they've got KE rounds, and also they've got a little bit of armor as well. I noticed. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, they can hold their own. Like it is not good like 10v tank, but you know, in ambush positions or rear shots or side shots, they're really good. They're also even good against infantry in like forests.
Yeah.
And let's see, yeah, it's like one of my favorite units.
Cool.
And next to that Marder VTS-1, I have the Weasel, or the Fat Mephisto, excuse me. 12 Hot 1 missiles on that. Really good ATGM vehicle. It is amphibious, goes really fast on and off-road. It has 12 of those missiles with 22 AP. And you might ask me, why do I not go for the Weasel Toe 2s? Well, I just like the speed of the Mephisto. You can just get in there really quick, fire off a few missiles, and then just really get out of there.
Sure.
But yeah, sometimes I do swap them out for the Weasel Toe 2s because of the higher AP and the higher accuracy and all. But yeah, I definitely think that you guys should try out the Fat Mephisto. It's a really good unit.
Yeah, for sure. That is a powerful weapon as long as it doesn't get spotted and targeted. That Mephisto, just fire it, get a launch off on a tank, and then just move its position. Of course, again, it's amphibious. You mustn't forget the amphibious nature of some of these vehicles, so you can get them across rivers and things, and it's pretty fast as well. Vehicle. I don't know, this might be a controversial choice, and I like them. Again, I'm reminiscing back to European Escalation and Airland Battle. I've gone for the AMX 10p Milans. The reason I've got these is because they're cheap. They haven't got the best ATGM, but they have got 12 missiles, so they can keep firing and they'll get a hit eventually. And they've got a nice little autocannon that can fire at helicopters as well. So you can, if you're under a bit of pressure, you can sneak these into tree lines and things and just try to slow the enemy down if they're pushing forward or anything like that. That's why I've got them. I was tossing up between those and the Jaguar 2s actually, and I chose those.
That's funny because I do have this up recording. I was hovering over that and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he's going to go with the AMX 10 because that I don't have anything in my vehicle tab for this specific deck, but that is what I do go for. Yeah. Because they are good. They are kind of they're kind of a well-rounded unit somewhat for just 30 points. And then if you kind of had just that extra points kind of laying around, that it can kind of handle it can handle tanks somewhat, and it can also handle infantry somewhat for 30 points. So I actually do go for those fairly often. I've seen, although the Martyrs are very good, I used to go with the Martyr VDSIs, or is it VDS1? It's VTS1. I used to go with those like almost religiously, but then for some reason I've just seen them fail me quite a few times. I don't know if it's just because I'm an idiot or if it's I don't know if I'm playing them right maybe, but I've seen like I have more success with the Milans because of the way that I play the game basically. Okay, cool. So shall we move on to the helis? Are you okay, Raptor, with that? Are you done? Or
yeah, well, I would like to mention that I do believe that vehicles are extremely important for, it seems more for defense, since if you get the enemy coming at you and you start firing ATGMs, it's a lot easier to hit and destroy them than when they're running away. So whether you're using high accuracy weapons or if you're firing like your example, the Milan with the 12 missiles, as long as you can keep firing at the enemy, it doesn't always matter if you destroy them or not, but if you get them to turn tail and run, that can be a victory too, since they'll go pay attention elsewhere and you can focus on another attack.
Sure,
It's good.
And to go with that as well, a tactic I've used a couple of times. You do need a lot to be having a lot of points to do this tactic. It needs to be in quite a long game. Is that if you want to do a big tank push, if you have a number of the sort of ATGM vehicles in tree lines, if your tanks do get damaged, you can pull them back behind the ATGMs, get them buffed up, and then just go again because they can't push through the line of ATGM units very quickly.
That, and they'll be focusing on the tanks they've already hurt.
Yeah. Sure.
They're probably not going to be focusing.
And a wall of ATGMs just looks cool as well.
Cool.
Don't forget that.
So let's move on to the heli. Who's doing the helis? That was I am noise. No, yeah,
I thought it was me.
Yeah, I think it's you going for these. What have you got for your helis?
So this specific deck, I love Eurocorp, but this specific deck, just overall deck, I have my 3 Celtics and my 2 Tiger Hads, and it really is a lot of this stuff is really based on how you want to play that specific map. I think with my setup, I probably have 3 just Eurocorp decks, just basic Eurocorp decks, just based on what map I'm playing on specifically, like how I want to play that map or just that game specifically. Yeah. But with this one, it's kind of a well-rounded. I know that France has the Celtics, and these are very, very good anti-helo choppers. So just as kind of a support thing, I always make sure to grab these, at least if not just for me, just for the team, because I'll just chuck maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of them all at once at the beginning, just to kind of counter where I think they might throw their helo rush with their Mi-24s and their Kulas and their K-52s and whatnot. And then also with the Tiger Hads, just a really solid anti-vehicle, just good attack helicopter in general. But also another thing is that if I was going to go for airborne, if this was an airborne unique deck, or even if it was just kind of airborne in mind, something I've done somewhat recently, and it works very well unless the person's very much on top of it and they're paying attention a lot, is I grab the Cassiopes. I grab as many I do grab as many Celtics, but I think I'm going to go back on that and actually grab 3 Celtics and then the German Stinger helicopters. And the reason I do that is because when I see the rush coming at me with their Mi-24Vs or their Kulas or whatever it might be, I throw the Cassiopes just at them in a wall, and then hopefully they'll use, if not a ton, all of their Iglas on them, and then here come the Celtics. And then if there's more, I would even send the bows first before my Celtics, just to make sure I get rid of them, and then I would have infantry as support and their transport choppers behind that.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm quite as organized to be able to do that myself, but yeah, a good tactic if you can manage to pull all that off. Yeah, brilliant. I've actually gone for exactly the same choppers as you, though. You said at the start, I've got the Gazelle Celtics. I've got 4 trained though instead of 3 hardened, and I've gone for the Tiger Hads just as my staple attack chopper that can do a little bit of everything. I was tossing up between the Gazelle Celtics and the Tiger Haps, but I went for the Celtics over the Haps just for price, and I've already got a rocket pod on the Hads anyway, so I went for the Celtics instead, or Celtics, however you pronounce it. Yeah, interesting. Other guys, what have you gone for?
Well, I basically only have like really, really specialized helicopters. I have the Celtics for anti-air helicopters, like in my initial infantry rush.
Yeah.
Then to follow up, I basically have Tiger Haps, which is a heavier anti-heli helicopter. They also have rockets and that 30mm cannon, which does a load of damage up close as well, also against helicopters. And it's just a really powerful unit.
Yeah.
And besides, or next to those 2 helicopters, I have one more.
Yeah.
Which is the Tiger Had, which is the kind of like a gunship. It has ATGMs, rockets, and that 30mm, so that's mainly focused for ground units. But yeah, together these 3 are really good.
Yeah. Have you got anything to add, Raptor?
I'd say I would probably always choose the Tiger Had over the Hap, because I would just rather have that sort of power aimed towards the ground rather than the air. If you're fighting something air to air, I always feel like I'm going to lose. So I would stick with the Celtics for the AA, or even maybe even bringing it to the Bow 1005 BSH.
Yeah.
And then
I can tell you're a European escalation and a veteran.
with my love for the bows.
No, because your preference for ground-based anti-air rather than using air and stuff like that.
Yeah,
maybe.
The Celtic's a good unit for the air-to-air, but if I had to, I would always choose to be on the ground to take out the aircraft. I always stay back with the air, but if you can get a hole in the enemy and take advantage of that, the Tiger Hat's going to be where you want to be with.
Cool. Thanks. Brilliant. Okay, on to the aircraft. Really really looking forward to doing this one with you guys. See what aircraft you bring out. Bolt Source, do you want to head off with the aircraft?
Yep, so I always have this basic loadout when I try to fill up my plane section, like 2 cards of air superiority fighters, 1 seed, and finally 2 bombers.
Yeah.
And the first card is my best air superiority fighter, which is the Rafale CF1. It's like one of the best planes in this game. I think it's even better than the PU because of the accuracy on the missiles. And to follow up, I have a card of Mirage 2000C RDYs, or RD, I think it's RDI. But yeah, that's a really good plane as well. It's like my second favorite plane, I guess. It was like one of the best planes in the ALB, and it's still a really good plane here. And it's just a really good follow-up plane.
And you get 3 of those as well.
Oh yeah, I put these guys on elite because of the accuracy bonus. Then I have the Tornado ECR, which is like one of the best seed planes, 4 missiles. But the thing with 4 missiles is, like, when you go to take out an AA piece, when you fire, it's already time to go because the enemy scrambled like 10 jets. So
right.
Yeah.
But they shoot quick. They
do shoot quick, but you'll have to either circle twice or like go along the front line to take down 2 AA missiles or batteries. But yeah, if you are playing on a smaller map and you don't want to take the risk, just go for the Jaguar Ace. It's cheaper and pretty much has the same missiles.
Yeah, I mean, with all my planes, if they've got fire and forget missiles, I always prefer them personally to have 2 missiles and not 4, because I do like them to evac as soon as they've shot them, because I'm not that brilliant at microing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the Jaguar A might be better for you then.
Yeah. What else have you got?
So next to those ASF fighters and my Tornado or ASFs and Tornado seed, I have a Napalmer, the Mirage, and the HE Bomber, the Mirage as well. So 2 Mirages, 1 with Napalm and 1 with HE. And I sometimes swap out the Napalmer for the Mirage Fict. It's actually F1 CT, but I just call it the Fict, which is really good against tanks with that AP.
Yeah. I've gone for the Rafales as well, but I've got 2 cards because I know they're the best. I know they're the best plane in the game, so I've got 2 of them, just in case I lose one. I've got Tornado IDSs for my bombers. I find they're quite good because they've got 30% ECM and they're really fast as well.
Yep.
And then I've got the Super SN-Dard SEM because I like to have an anti-tank aircraft. They do often get shot down, but they're 90 points, and you can stand a really good chance of taking down like a BU or something with these things. You'll lose the plane, but you'll take out a really big tank with them at the same time. What does everyone else think?
I pretty much had exactly what you had. I actually dropped the one of the Raphaels for 2 Kiwis, and I feel like it's kind of just a easier. Even though the one Raphael may be even better than 2 Kiwis, I feel better going into a fight, or I feel better if I have a B5 coming at me if I have 2 planes more than 1. Even if that one plane is a Raphael, I feel like having the 2 Kiwis over just 1 Raphael. It's just I feel better having that. And also I do go for the IDS if I want the bombers because of the ECR mainly. I know it gets out a lot quicker. And then the ECR, I do really like the ECR. I don't have it in this deck, but I do like the ECR because it's just the way that I make my planes. Actually, I was about to do a video on this soon about how to run really good seed runs well, and it's always with the ECR. It's a prime example because of how quickly it shoots.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of messing around with seed planes while I've been playing, obviously, and I feel like the ECR is the best seed plane in the game.
Okay.
Next to the Raven, but it also has the 4 aims on it too. I feel like it shoots really quick. It's really effective, and then also if you bring it in behind those IDSs, obviously it'll do its job with the seed missiles, the 4 of them, even though it does shoot 2 at one target. But maybe it just, well, obviously it just has a better chance of not missing. You kill that Tunguska or that Buck M1 or whatever you're shooting at.
Yeah. What about you, Raptor?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think I would stick to using some of that higher tier things as well. I think my micro on aircraft is 4, and thus, you know, you've got your options of either A, spamming the alpha jets for napalm bombs to try to delay the enemy, or you've got to bring out the one thing and manage it well. Now with the French and the Germans, they've got a lot of multi-role aircraft. You've got your Mirages that they're air superiority, but of course they're armed with like the you got your semi-active radar missiles and infrared, which are great. But alongside that, Bolt, I think I would agree with you bringing that. You said the FIC 200. Is that what you said, or did you say the 2000C?
The Mirage 2000 RDI.
Okay. Yeah. See,
the Alpha or the Mirage F1C is also really good.
I would say in addition to that, you always have to escort your high-end fighters with some lower-end stuff as well, just to kind of give the enemy more to shoot at, you know, to save that aircraft and to show your dominance on the field. So a couple of those with a Raphael with the ECR there, if you can manage it, or, you know, toss it up however you want. I think that's great to maintain that air superiority to make sure the battle stays on the ground. And of course, I'm very surprised none of us had mentioned the Peace Rhine yet, because that's a unit I've just seen tear up enemy tanks time and time again. I cannot keep track of how many times I have seen specifically T-72s of all different modifications just bow down to the 2 infrared missiles that this thing can fire. They seem to always hit, even though that accuracy is at 50, and it's quite a good fighter.
Yeah, I'm just comparing that to the Super Etendard that I've got actually, and it is more 120 points, but I can see your point. It's got exactly the same anti-tank missile, but it can defend itself. It's got the AIM-9L missiles as well that it can shoot at close range. So yeah, that's an interesting sort of alternative to the Peace Rhine with that extra bit of defense that it's got for itself.
It is also faster at 900 versus 750.
Indeed it is, yes, you're right, yeah. Which makes a big difference when you're flying in trying to take a tank being shot at by anti-air. Yeah.
Right.
To me, it's kind of a toss-up, because with most of the planes, especially the Peace Rhine, it shoots both of them at once, right? Probably most likely at the same target, unless you're really good with the micro.
Yep.
Yeah, so I figured that even though it's down on 10 ECM, I would actually go for the Entard more of the times, because most of the time when you try to throw an ATGM plane at a tank, like 90%, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just an idiot, but it's kind of like a last base, like, oh crap, this Twardy is going to get up next to my CV or something, I need to kill this thing. I would much rather have a cheaper plane that still is solid, because just in case you do lose it. I tend to get my ATGM planes into stickier situations than my other planes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's it for the aircraft. That's about it for the deck as well. Thank you, guys. But I want to do one last thing. I'm going to put this upon you. You have to choose your favourite unit, okay? We can choose the same one if you want. I'll let you have a little think about it by going first.
205.
Hold on. Okay, I won't choose that then. I'm actually going to go.
At my desk.
You can go for something more kind of value for money or something like that. It doesn't have to be the absolute best unit in the game. And I'm going to go for the VBL Mistral personally. I just think it's a fantastic unit. I always bring them out at the start of the game because they're recon, anti-air. They can go across the water. They go really fast to the front line and can take out choppers and all sorts. So that's mine. So I am Noise. You're going for the
205. Yep.
205 is your guy.
Yep.
Raptor?
I'd have to say I'm gonna have to go with the Tornado ECR, because when it's on your side it's great, and when it's on the enemy side it's the first thing you're gonna want to kill, especially if you're trying to support your teammates. If you got some sort of AA, you want to make sure that that thing is down, and you're always microing to defend against it. So that Tornado ECR, I love that thing so much.
Cool. And Bolt Source, what's your favorite unit?
In this deck, I will probably go for the Tiger Hap, because in one game it took down like 4 helicopters and later like 2 PUs. So it's one hell of a weapon.
I remember that one.
But my all-time favorite plane is probably the KF-16C Block 52D. I've seen these thing take out like a PU and then also like 2 AA batteries at the same time. It's a really strong unit.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'd like to thank you 3 guys for taking the time to come on and do this video. It's been a real pleasure and a learning experience at the same time.
Yeah, that was definitely a learning experience. So everyone, please do check out Bubblebox and also Nolan and Raptor. Links are down in the description, so go please click on them. Really check Nolan out and also Bubblebox and give them some support. And I'll see you in the next one.